Welcome to the Unsexy Businessmen podcast, where we talk about everything unsexy businesses and entrepreneurship. Spell that word. My name is Alex Skinner. As always, I'm joined by my brother Aaron Skinner. And today we're going to be talking about a very sensitive subject, which is working with family, whether as business partners or potentially hiring them as employees. This is something. Just joking. This is something that is obviously, as you can see, we have the exact same last name. That is not by coincidence. So we have associated a lot with family, and we have also associated a lot with friends. I'm going to do a warning alert, trigger warning alert. Why am I saying warning that way?
Trigger warning.
We are going to share stories, and I'm sure people who listen to this who do know us are probably going to think these stories are about them. They probably aren't. Aaron and I have worked with a lot of people, a lot of different people. Even in just my 2.5 years, I've worked with dozens of different friends and family members. Aaron has been doing this for over a decade. So if I've had dozens, he's had hundreds. So if there's a story in here where you're like, oh my gosh, this is about me, it probably isn't. And if it is, do better. No, just kidding. I'm sure we'll do like a little bit of like, I'm going to do a little self-deprecation in this one where I'm talking bad about things that I do that I know suck to deal with. So don't worry. Like, it's not just going to be everyone else sucks. Like, I know that I suck at times too. So let's hop into it right away. What are your just initial thoughts on working with friends and family?
The benefit of working with friends and family, I'll do that one first, is usually there's a level of trust there. The negative with working with friends and family is there's a level of trust there. So paradox. No, like, so that's like, it's one of those things where it's nice to have that kind of trust already built in. And if you are working with friends or family where that could be a giant benefit, but I could also go the other way where you're too trusting, especially when it's come to like financials or what they're actually doing or whatever it is, where you give them the benefit of the doubt where you normally would not have given someone the benefit of the doubt, maybe. I'm assuming if you're going to bring on a business partner, it's someone that you know really well. I don't know if I've ever brought in a business partner that I had no idea who they were. Probably.
Well,
I can't think it off.
But you could have maybe business partners who you like didn't know really well.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I know there are, I just can't think of them.
And then family member, friends or family or whoever your other business partner is probably vouched for them type thing, which once again, that built-in trust.
Yeah. And like I said, that could be a really good thing because it is nice to be able to have that trust there. But I think there is something good about having to still build the trust almost over again. Even though you know them maybe on a personal level, maybe you don't know them on a business level. And there's a huge difference between, I know this guy will come over and help me move, and I know this guy is going to come and knock out sales or whatever, right? Like there's different types of things that you know of friends and family, and that can be a big hindrance on growth within your company. So I mean, like I said, it is kind of a catch-22 with bringing in friends and family, the trust part of it, because it can lead to massive disappointment when you think they're going to do something some way and they do it the exact opposite of what you were hoping, and so that sucks. But
the exact opposite, or not at all.
Yes. Yeah. Which is usually the exact opposite. Because you're like, oh, this person's going to crush it. They're going to do really good with this. And then they end up not doing anything. And it's a giant disappointment. And then, I mean, I don't know where we're going with this I mean, I know where we're going, but I don't know what part we want to talk about.
To hell.
You can burn, you can ruin relationships. I mean, there's a lot of people who give you advice, don't get into business with your family. I think that's a pretty like common thing. Like, don't get into business with your family because of that statistic of a lot of businesses fail. And we get into that in other podcasts of why they fail. But if it inevitably fails, people start blaming each other, and then feelings get hurt, and then all of a sudden you're not talking to these people anymore who you had close relationships with. So that's where it becomes very pretty dicey when you're bringing someone in. You need to have a lot of confidence in whatever their skill set is, and if they say they're going to do something, that they're actually going to do it. And again, that's kind of as you're doing the business, it becomes evident really clear, really, really quickly. I mean, of if the person's talking about, I'm going to do A, B, C, and they're only doing A and they're never doing B and C, it becomes really, it's just like, oh, and it sucks when you find that out. You're like, oh, I thought you're going to do all of these things really well. You're doing one of these things okay, and I have to pretend like that's okay. And that sucks.
Yeah. So I have a couple of things written down here. I can't decide. I think on this one, it makes more sense if we go positive first and then negative, because on our last family one, we did it the opposite. We went more of the negative ones and led up to the more positive ones, because there's way more teaching and examples of how to avoid this in the negatives on this one. So for me, why working with family makes sense, I think there are three main things: a shared language and shared values, extended grace, and then you are winning with the family or friend member. So first off, shared language and shared values. I can just talk to Aaron and he can understand subtext in conversations that we have. So like whenever he and I are talking, I can say things very explicitly, and not just like swearing. I just mean like I vomit everything out, and then it can be understood because we've had so many conversations with one another, and and I don't just mean like business conversations, which have had a lot of business conversations, but like we've had conversations for essentially our entire life. So that gives us 20 years shared experience where we can just communicate with one another, which is probably the best part, because I've seen this with other people that Aaron and I work with. When I am like super direct, they take offense to it, but Aaron understands that my personality type. So this is once again going back to me sucking. My personality type is like, let's just get this over with. Let's go. Not like get it over with. It's more just like, let's get to the point. Let's get to the point.
Efficiency.
Let's get to the point.
Efficiency.
Let's get to the point. And some people like that. Some people don't. But Aaron knows that I like that. So it's not like, if I'm doing that, it's not like, oh, Alex is being an asshole. It's like, oh, this is just Alex's thing. That being said, I know it can rub some people the wrong way, but Aaron knows that it shouldn't rub him the wrong way.
Right.
The next one that I have is extended grace. So once again, because you know each other for a long time, and this goes to something that Aaron was saying at the start, you'll understand the personality type, like the example that I just gave right there. You know what's going on in their life, so you're able to give that extended grace more easily. Like we probably share a lot of like the personal things that are going on in our life. And then when things like go off the rails, which I know I've done this numerous times, and this is probably going to be in like the negative section of things once again, but like Saturday, I was like pissed off. Aaron gave me a call, and then I just like was pissed off for like 30 for like 30. It felt like an eternity from like 30 for like 30 to 45
hour and 20
minutes. Yeah, an hour exactly. It would not surprise me.
I don't know.
It felt very brief, yet also like an eternity. And so I'm sure that's happened a few times. I'm sure there's been a couple of times I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And then like we have those conversations, and then we come to a resolution, figure out like things work, and then we just move forward from there. I don't think you've done that nearly as much. And usually when Aaron calls me, it's like, what the fuck is this person thinking? Like it's usually it's usually that type of stuff.
Yes.
Mine is always more nobody's doing stuff for me. I can actually give like the exact example. I felt like with stuff that we were doing with one of our businesses, like I am like doing so much heavy lifting with this. And then after like some reflection, I'm sure Aaron could have been like, dude, I did 100 videos. I've done 100 videos, 100 hours worth of stuff. You can't talk to me about like the amount of time put into things. But he didn't do that because he knew that wouldn't help the situation.
In the funny thing is, I was thinking about that after that conversation, and it's one of those things where this is why, dude, it is so important to understand each other. It's like strengths and weaknesses, because Alex, you pointed out is like, I'm like, sorry, what was the wording you used for your second bullet point? Grace? Is that what it was?
Grace. Yeah.
I have a huge problem with extending too much grace, where I just keep giving people like the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of the doubt. And this is what I told Alex. I was like, I can see the potential in people, and it and it's almost like in me, I have to be able to help those people reach that potential. But then I have to realize I can't make them reach their potential. They have to do it. And so this was an issue with me with like employees when I had Honestly Clean. I was constantly just trying to help people, promote within the company or do better in whatever. It could have been just in their life in general. But and this, I don't know if this makes me sound like I care too much.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my thing, is like I just see what people's potential is, and it like becomes like almost like a personal goal of mine now. I want you to reach that potential. And then I have to eventually tell myself I can't make this person do this thing. And that's one of the things I'm trying to work on. Is like, I just have to start, maybe not having as much grace with people and being more direct, because that is definitely one of my flaws. Is I'm just always seeing the positive of what could be instead of the reality of what is. And that can be a huge issue when you're building a business and you're spending a lot of time on employees that they're not gonna make it. And I saw it, if not dozens, hundreds of times with employees that we had. And it was always a bummer when that happened. But on the other side of that, there were people that had that potential. I was able to work with them, and they worked their way up in the company, and they did awesome, and they were doing great things. And then once they get to that kind of potential that they have, it makes my life easier. So maybe it's kind of a selfish thing where I'm like, hey, once that person can get to there, it's going to make life so much easier. But that process of doing it is very draining. And the problem is, it was probably, I can at least say this with Honestly Clean, it was maybe 5% of the employees that actually, all the work that I put into trying to help them get better, that 5% actually got to that spot where they were helping me and the company grow.
The next one I have for family and friends that's a positive is you are winning with a family or friend. So like I think that's fun. Like it's almost like, hey, I forget who I was talking about when I said this, but it's like, oh, we're just doing a family activity that just so happens to make money. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of coolness to that. I think I shared this story. Yes, I did share this story before, but like that friend that I was like going selling those TV screens to like restaurants and businesses to like advertise on. I was like, hey, we're just having fun out here. Just getting to spend a bunch of time. We get to talk about a ton of different things, get to know each other like even better. So that's one of the pros, once again, of being a family. And that's like not the last one I have. It's just there are so many ways that family membership could go wrong. But that's my last favorite one. I was like, hey, we're making sales. Look at that. Like we had another, like we've been having tons and tons of sales with Unsexy Businessmen. And it's like, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
because you want to be able to celebrate with people that you care about. And so,
Yeah.
it'd be cool to, you win the lottery. Let's say you win the lottery at a gas station, you find out you won, and you're surrounded by a bunch of strangers. Probably not going to be as impactful if you're surrounded by family and friends that you won, whatever. I'm not saying that, whatever, but just like my point being is it's a lot more fun. Not only that, because the amount of work that went into said business, and when you start getting those wins, it's so much better. Like, oh my gosh, what we're doing is working, and this is awesome. And then you get to celebrate, and not only like the little wins, like when you get to a point where then you could start like going on cool vacations or doing cool experiences because of all that hard work. You get to then spend time with people that you enjoy being around, as opposed to the people at the gas station that now you have to buy them a bunch of free candy bars, or just whatever. Like, it's like, it is nice. It's nice when you, and friends and family, it's fun when you have those wins and you can celebrate it with each other. No, I totally agree.
So now we're going to pivot and go into the common problems that come up when working with friends and family. And I think Aaron's touched on a couple of these already, so we may not have to go super in depth to each one. But first off is blurred boundaries of friends and family. So it's like we are working together, and yet we also have this shared bond of familialship, friendship that is going on. That is incredibly complicated because every single difficult conversation you have to have has to be planned out meticulously so that you can maintain the how there's a the personal relationship versus the business relationship.
Yes.
That's how I'll
Yes.
separate those two.
And you
And
almost have to have them planned out where those conversations you have to have like, it's almost like when you're talking to an employee and you're giving them some sort of like not critical, what is that feedback? The
oh yeah,
constructive criticism. And so you have to be able to give them like, hey, I'm not just saying this to be an asshole. I'm saying this because of this, and this. And like I said, that was kind of the conversation that you and I had on Saturday, where it's just like, you have to be able to point out to certain things and then discuss it. It can't just be like, you suck at this job. See you later. You know what I mean?
right,
Like it's got to be specific things that you're pointing out to and doing it in a way where, and they might not agree with you, but at least if you have examples, you're not coming off as the bad person as much because you have those specific examples of why you are having this conversation with a friend or a family member.
and no matter what, it's gonna suck.
Yes.
But once again, this is why it goes back to like the like extended grace, shared language. Like I think those conversations are easier for Aaron and I to have because we've had so many of those types of conversations, and like we've had like personal relationship conversations and professional relationship conversations, and yet we still have a thriving business and other businesses that are starting to like come off. And I think it's because, well, it is primarily like Aaron's grace. I will like give kudos where kudos are due. I don't know if I am as forgiving. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Freak out on me one time, Aaron. See what,
Yeah.
and we could see what type of grace levels I have.
All you have to do is break an MRI machine and then I'll start yelling at
you. But like it is really complicated though, because the longer you've had the relationship, I think the easier the conversation can be where you can get somewhere, which probably seems counterintuitive. And then the shorter the relationship, like the harder it is. You're like, I enjoy this relationship, but also I would like for this business to make money.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. And it's again, you're walking this fine line of, like you said, the personal relationship and business relationship. And I don't know, dude. Maybe we'll just have at the end, we have to say whether we would recommend doing this or not. But yeah, it's, you really, really got to think what you almost have to think about. This is what I would tell I had managers who were in charge of hiring people, and every once in a while, like, hey, my sister wants a job or my cousin wants a job. And the first thing I would tell them, like, that's great. Are you okay with firing them? What's going to happen if you fire them? Are they never going to talk to you again? And like, so you have to be comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. And if you're not willing to have these uncomfortable conversations with a business partner, like you already know, like, I don't know if I could ever say that to that person. Probably you want to avoid getting into business
Deep,
with that person, because
especially deep business.
every business is going to have issues. There are always going to be some stressful moments. There's going to be some, hurt feelings in some way. You almost have to have some pretty thick skin and be able to take criticism and go from there. But if you're the type of person who, you like the conversation that you and I had, Alex, like if it was something where like I'm easily offended, I'm like, well then fuck this, man. I'm going to do my own thing or whatever. Like you have to like see where it's coming from. How valid is it? What can we do to make it better? And then go from there. And the other thing too, it's probably people think we're constantly like getting mad at each other. It's very rare that we like have these
Right.
intense conversations, but I'm just going to tell you right now, no matter what business you start, you will eventually have these types of conversations. And so you need to be prepared to be okay with having them and then moving forward. Like it's it's very unrealistic to think you're never going to have a disagreement with your business partner. You
Right.
100% will.
Because it's, and a lot of it always comes back to like expectation setting and like not knowing,
Yes.
like
Yes.
that's a really hard thing. Like a piece of advice, like have very clear expectations on everybody's roles, responsibilities, and metrics. We still don't have that, but I think it's okay with some of our businesses, because what ends up happening is everyone has their view of like how someone should do something, but it's not written down, which also goes into like make sure everything is contracted, no handshake deals, make sure everyone has agreed to like this is what you need to do, this is what you will be judged on in terms of results, because that's probably the thing I struggle with the most is like, and this is going to sound, like I care too much. I feel like I put everything, like I will learn a new skill if it's something that I've never done before. Like, never done this? All right, I'll go figure that out. And you just keep getting these requests, and that's partially on me. Like, you get these requests from people like, hey, can you do this? 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 And you're like, how about you go make us money? And I will start like doing those things. And then you get a little bit
Right.
resentful, and then that resentment builds over time. And so that just causes inevitably is going to cause
Issues.
cause problems. So like
Yes.
people have to know like,
Yes.
what do you do? What do I do? Like you have to have those clearly listed out and maybe even written into your partnership agreement.
Yeah. And not only that, and then being held accountable for those things. Like, hey, like if we started Keystone with the expectation, Alex, that you are going to be running, talking to customers and doing the SEO and the digital marketing, and then all of a sudden you're like, I actually don't want to do any
Any of this.
SEO or digital market. That I know we would have
Right.
gone nowhere. And so when we started on Sexy Businessman, like that was one of the things was like kind of you said, like I'll make content, like I'll do all these videos, I'll do this, and then you had your thing that you're doing, and and maybe we don't have them as clear as it needs to be, but I think because Alex and I know each other so well and know what our skill sets are so well, that it kind of works. But when you start throwing, other people into different businesses where you don't know what their skill sets actually are, that's when you're going to run into issues. And again, if you're wanting to start a business because you're really good at this one thing and you want to bring someone else because they're good at that one thing, you better be really good at that one thing you said you're good at, and you better be willing to get better and better at that one skill set or multiple skill sets in order to show your value within the company. If you're just completely relying on one person to do everything, that one person is not going to want to stick around for very long.
And the people that I don't mind doing stuff for are the people who are successful. And like that, I think that's like when Aaron and I are working on stuff, like, yeah, like we're like batting 1,000 here with like every single thing that we do, but it's essentially like, I will figure out how to do this thing. I will figure out how to do this thing. And so, and then, but the things that we say we are really, really good at, we are really, really good at those things. Then we experiment, we try, we test new
Sure.
things. And I think that a struggle too is like, depending on your personality types of your business partners, that can become problematic because Aaron and I are very similar. Where it's just like, yep, just tell me what to do, I'll figure it out. Just tell me what to do, I'll figure it out.
Right.
And then as you start getting like other people who are like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? I'm like, well, our personality type is like when we want something and we know it's not Alex's specific skill set, I will go figure it out. Or like I'll still bring it up, but it's not with the idea of like, hey, Alex, let me think of like just like some random example. CapCut. Let's use CapCut as an example.
Sure.
Hey, Alex, there's this new tool called CapCut. Can you make videos using CapCut? And I would say, no, I do not know how to make videos. You're not going to be like, Alex, can you learn how to? You
Right.
would then go
Right.
try and figure it out yourself.
Yes. Which
And
is exactly what we did.
yeah, yeah. So like there are these things where it's like, that is when it's tough with friends and family because you're just like, oh shit. I have this written down. Skill sets. Shit, you're just a really nice person and you don't have any skills. Those are the worst people to be in business with. People who have no actual skills that are going to move the company forward. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? I have made a
Yeah.
terrible, terrible mistake. And you don't realize this until you start like, all right, now we're divvying stuff up. That's why I say, like, at the very start, if you can have everyone like, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do, um, it just simplifies that process so that you don't realize later on, like, oh God, the fact that you were saying that's a skill that you're going to learn scares me because that is a skill I already have and is a waste of your time to learn how to do.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, like having that all written and clearly stated in the contract, in your operating agreement, it makes it easier to go back. I'm like, hey, dude, we all signed this. Like you said, you're going to be doing, the marketing of this, or you're going to be doing the sales, door to door sales, or whatever it is. This is what you brought to the table. You can't start asking us to start doing all of the sales because you don't like it. We brought you here because you're an expert in sales or you're an expert in graphic design or whatever it is. That just have it, dude, have everything in writing. Have everything in writing.
Yeah, I agree. And like, well, that's gonna be there's gonna have to be. Because I think what happens is like you have a new business venture and you're just so excited, and so you're like a dog. You're like a dog chasing cars, to use a joker. Like, if I caught one, I wouldn't even. So you're just like going, you're just going, you're just going. Like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and then reality starts to set in. And it's like, man, it sure was fun when we were just chasing cars, and then and now it's all like, oh crap, I've been the only one chasing cars this entire time, and now I am tired and worn out. Like you don't want to run into that. And like I think what also happens too is like you start having favorites. Like you start having like these favorites. Like, oh, I like this person. Like this person is really good at what they're doing. These ideas are really good. Their output is really, really awesome. And then you start resenting these other people who don't have it. And so this person who you're like, oh, you're doing awesome. Like, I'll do anything for you. And then this person who sucks, you're just like, every single thing, even if it's a good idea, every single thing you recommend, I'm going to hate just because I haven't seen any value out of you.
That you've brought. Yeah.
And then that creates conflict where they're just like, well, why does Alex not like me? It's like, well, I mean, I can tell you specifically why, but like, that's not going to change anything because here we are. We're like,
The only thing that can change that is actually going and doing what you were brought in to do.
right.
Whether that be, like I said, graphic design, whatever it is, like whatever skill set you were supposed to bring in, you need to be bringing that stuff in. That's why, kind of like you said, Alex, you don't just start a business with a friend because you like that guy. You have to be very strategic about who you're bringing in and why. And I think we've said this multiple times, but it's because it is so important. You have to have those complementary skill sets that is going to help build your business, or you're just going to have one person that does everything the entire time, and then that person's going to get pissed off and not want to do that business with you anymore.
Right.
So if you are starting a business with business partners, make sure you're doing everything in your power, and then making sure like you're being held accountable for those things, and that you're holding the other business partners accountable for what they're supposed to be doing as well. I would say one of the easiest things that you can fall into that we kind of talked about, as soon as you volunteer to do something, you are that person. So if you volunteer to be I'm going to put invoices together, you become the invoice guy. So if you don't want to become the invoice guy, and it's, there was someone else who could easily do that, who's really not doing anything, you need to have the balls to be able to, and again, I'm saying this because I usually don't. I'm usually just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll figure that out, or whatever. Or Alex. I mean, you're almost always like, yep, I'll just do it. You have to have the balls to be like, dude, go figure it out. Like, you want to do that? Like, I'm busy putting this website together. I'm busy doing sales. I'm busy doing this. You can figure out how to create an invoice. Like, go on. There's countless resources of how to do this. And this is just one example of the dozens or hundreds of tasks that need to be done. You need to be willing to be like, I can figure this out, or make sure you can delegate that to the person who really isn't doing very much.
Yeah. And then there's going to be the concerns if people don't want to delegate. If you find more and more that people don't want to give you things to do, it's because they don't trust you and don't think you're going to do a good job at it. Like that's kind of on them. Like, they should give you the opportunities to fail, but businesses want to have as few squeaky wheels as possible and as much success as possible. So if the person believes in themselves that they're going to be able to do it. They're just like, I'm going to do it because I just don't think you will be able to do this thing. So once again, you'll have to take an accounting with yourself with that information that I just gave. It's like, man, is this why nobody asked me to do anything? Is this like it's probably because they don't trust you, and that's gonna end up being a problem. Then
Red
if you need to have
flag.
like that, yeah, and then it sucks too. Yeah, and what sucks too is like, and then we have to figure out how to let you go.
Yes.
So now because we've rushed into things really fast, now we have to figure out like, all right, and nobody wants to let their family go, especially like I'm just going to use this as a who should I use this as? I can use Gingerbread Man. Um, like as things start going bad at that business, it's like, guess what happened? Nobody was firing anybody because everyone was too scared to, and now you have all of these salaries that you continue to pay, even though you have way too many employees, too many people on the payroll, to the amount of money that you are bringing in.
Right.
That's sorry. That example is. I'm trying to stay a little bit vague, but me just saying that Aaron knows exactly what I'm talking about. A company,
Yes.
they had it was family owned and operated with friends. They weren't making that much money, but they still had a bunch of people on staff. And guess
Right.
what happened? It went out of business. So
Right.
you want to avoid those things. So it's not like, oh crap, like I'm scared to have these conversations. So it's almost like the way that we're talking right now is like, it's not good to go into business with friends and family. And I would say that is true to a point. It's not good to go into business with friends and family when they have no marketable skills that you need them to do, nor are they intrinsically motivated to figure those things out.
Yes. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Man.
Because then you eventually, I mean, it's just like with the other business that we're trying to get off the ground. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get too much into like tooting our own horn, but there's things that neither you and I had any skills in doing, but we are willing to learn those skills in order to get that business off the ground, where we haven't heard from anyone. We haven't found any other business partners that would be willing to like, what do we need? I can do this. I can do this. I'll start looking into that. It's lots of talk. You'll just run into lots of talk and lots of, I don't know.
Lots of
It's
lots of
again, I
lots
don't,
of talk and like lots of like something, and this is like with a lot of different people, and this isn't just with like friends and family. It's a lot of oh, if people are, a lot of talk is like actually really perfect for it, but saying like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and
yes.
there is no fruition from it.
No
There's no
results.
fruits to those labors. It's like, oh, the like we're not stupid. Like you are using the tactic of appear to be busy, appear to be doing
Yes.
things,
Yes.
appear, but that gets found out relatively quickly. And like another thing that I've noticed too with like different people that I've worked with is it's like if I do something, it's the easiest possible way without putting as little time and thought into it as possible. Um,
Yep.
so like if I can like shout out somebody on this and hopefully like doesn't, that's why I love Sam so much. And he probably doesn't think I do because of like my gross personality, or like when I like my let's do this, let's do
Direct,
this, let's do this, let's do this,
direct
let's do this.
personality.
Yeah. Um, but I'm just like, oh my God, this dude is just hustling. And like I have access to like all of his emails. Like I see like everything that he's doing. I'm just like, I want to do stuff for you. Like you are a person who like I want to do things for, because I'm just like, it's not like he's ever sold products before. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. That
this
wasn't
type,
his
like,
skill
yeah,
set,
you know what I mean? And like, it's just like, I just
but he
go
figured
figure
it
it
out.
out. So
Yep.
I like have a lot of respect for the people like, yep, I'll just go figure out whatever that thing is. And it makes it, and that's why when he's like, hey, can I get this flyer? It's like, all right, here it is. Hey, can I get this thing? It's just like, all right, here it is. I'm just
Yep.
always willing to do stuff for him. It's a good
Yes.
dude. Um, I try because I shouted out a friend in one of our podcasts and he got really excited about it. And so I'm trying, like when I'm telling a story that's like positive, I want to like do the best. Be like, this is about this specific person. You're like you're a really good person. Trying to be more positive lately.
Yeah.
Um,
Go Josh Cooper.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. What did he do? Is he doing really well?
He started his own business and he's doing great. He's doing I'm sorry, Josh. I know you told me what it was, and it's something with IT, something with
Oh, cool.
managing something or other.
Cool.
He's doing like a private contracting
Dope.
for that thing. So he started his own business. He reached out to me about getting an LLC set up, and yeah, keep doing it, dude. Don't quit.
I think he left a nice comment on one of our videos, so I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Josh.
Um, and I'm just going to reiterate, guys, because I was switching over to look at our listener submitted business advice, and I saw my email. Just want to remind you, just keep going, everybody. I just got a confirmation from a new client that's going to be coming on for approximately $9,000 to $11,000 a month. So just keep going. When things are getting bad, just keep going, everybody. Any other thoughts on friends and family? Once again, shout out Josh.
In all honesty, the before, it's the same advice I gave my employees when they try to hire their friends or family. You need to ask yourself, if this business fails, and am I still going to be able to have a good relationship? Okay, I'm even more extreme than that. Am I willing to lose this friendship with this person over this business? Because the likelihood of the business failing, again, I don't have the statistics in front of me, are high. And so you just have to, like, are you willing to lose a relationship over this? I mean, probably all the answers should be no. But you have to go in there with that mindset of that is a possibility that the business fails, feelings get hurt, people start pointing fingers, and then you're going to lose that friendship. So if you're willing to make that, not that sacrifice, if you're willing to take that risk, then go for it. But if you're not willing to take that risk, don't do it, because the kind of the odds are that things won't work out the best way. Even if it's funny, because even if the business is successful, there still could be an argument, or there could still be something that happens that feelings still get hurt and you lose those relationships. So there's just, like I said, it's not like you have to be willing to lose your friendship if you want to be in a business together, but you just have to understand that there is a risk of that happening. And are you okay with that risk?
Yeah, obviously
Happening?
we deal with unsexy businesses primarily as like what our goal is, but like just go watch Succession. I know that's a dramatization, but like look how having your family involved in things can. It's a drama, it's a fantasy, yada yada yada, but it's based
On
on
a
Rupert.
real family.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch, and they just ousted people from the family, and I think he gave it to one of his sons. But yeah, like, could you imagine that conversation? We're like, yep, I mean, it'd be an awesome conversation. Like, okay, so we're just deciding if you're going to get $2 billion or $1 billion.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Yeah.
to the Murdoch family for being born into an awesome bloodline. All right. Yeah. Let's hop on over to some listener submitted life advice. Dang it. Sorry, we're going to get sued. To some listener submitted business advice.
Business / advice of the life.
So today, as always, remember, submit your advice to UnsexyBusinessmen. That's businessmen, MEN, @gmail.com. We should probably start putting this in like the notes too, because business is hard to spell. So it's unsexy, very easy. Everyone can spell sex. Just add a Y-U-N.
Buzz.
Yep.
Buzz-ness.
Yep. 2 S's in business at the end there. But thanks for submitting advice, everybody. We really appreciate it. Let's see. We got these are 2 business related ones today. So
Good.
Theft. Actually, no. One is actually, I'll take it back. It's not. It's one employer focused and then one business focused. Which one do you want to do first?
Is there a thief one?
Yeah.
Yeah, do the thief one.
Okay. Would you fire a 3-year manager for stealing $10 in cleaning products? Hi, unsexy boys. Well, first off, we're men, so that's hurtful. Could really use your help on this. Our manager is stealing cleaning products. We don't actually sell cleaning supplies. They're only used for maintaining our equipment. This employee has been with my small company for about 3 years and has played a big role in helping me grow the business. The problem is they rarely make it through a full week without either calling out or showing up at least 20 minutes late. Attendance has been a constant struggle. Recently, someone mentioned that when I'm not around, the manager spends time playing games on their phone. I reviewed the security footage, and sure enough, they were on a mobile game for around 40 minutes during work hours. Well, man, you must have a pretty good camera if you could tell they were on a mobile game. How do you know they weren't just scrolling Instagram? Anyway, sorry. While reviewing the clips, I also noticed them slipping about $10 worth of magic erasers. This is my wife? Into their purse. Oh my gosh, it is a female. So I guess, males could have purses too. Is this my wife? At this point, I'm leaning toward letting them go. It's tough because of the history we've built together, but I feel like the issues are becoming too much to overlook. Thoughts, Aaron?
God, this is so perfect for two reasons. I literally had this exact same scenario happen, minus it wasn't magic erasers. And I'm watching Ozark, where the question was posed if you had someone who worked for you for a long time and you saw them steal $5, should they be fired? And the answer was yes, and it's because that's only the first time they got caught stealing. I had a zero tolerance policy for theft, whether it was time card theft or stealing products. So in my scenario, it was our supervisor who had been with us for about a year and a half, and she was really good. And then I found out that she was taking our products and doing like side jobs, like doing her own kind of side business.
So making money off of your products.
Yes, and making money off of our products. And so you have to have a zero tolerance policy. That just because that sets the precedent in your company that everyone knows no one is immune from getting fired for stealing. And that's exactly what we did. Like, hey, this sucks. And the part that sucked about this, it sucked because we liked her. She was really cool. And this was like 2 weeks before Christmas is why it really sucked. And so we found out all of this. She admitted to it and we let her go. And it sucked that it had to be 2 weeks before Christmas. And the thing that sucked for her is we do bonuses for Christmas, which is at that time was usually like thousands of dollars in cash that we'd give people. And so because of that, those really poor decisions that she made led to her, I doubt she made thousands of dollars on her side gigs or whatever she was doing. And she didn't steal thousands of dollars worth of product. But because of those really stupid decisions, she missed out on her, $5,000 bonus at the end of the year. But my thing is like, you have to let that person go because you have to let everyone else know in your organization that there is no tolerance when it comes to stealing. And again, like I said, that it's just funny. I just literally watched that episode the other day. Like that's the only time that she's been caught stealing. More than likely it's happened multiple times that you just didn't know. And it could have been other things that she was stealing. Maybe they were more expensive than magic erasers. But that's my answer. You have to let the person go, get everything in writing, make sure there's no case to where she can come back and say, she tries to sue you for false I was gonna say false imprisonment. I've been watching a lot of Ozark. False termination. I can't remember that term is.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Unlawful termination?
Something like that. Something, whatever, doesn't matter. That's why you have to have all of your paperwork in order, have everything documented, have everything signed, and then you are at least protecting yourself from a legal standpoint when you have to let that person go.
For all those people yelling at Aaron, it's wrongful. I had to look it up. I also could not think of it. Wrongful termination. I don't really have much to add, except to the point of Aaron, this is the first time you caught her cheating. It's actually you've caught her cheating twice, or not cheating, stealing twice. Time theft with your awesome cameras. Yes. That she was on a mobile app, and then the stealing of the product itself. Yeah, I think it's pretty. This is like a nice
that's cut and dry
one.
Yeah.
Except I just want to do a little psychological analysis here. You said like it's really hard to fire this person. This person never shows up. They call out often. They barely make their hours. You know that they're stealing from you products and time theft. This person doesn't sound that awesome. I assume they must have done something awesome to help you grow. I know that's what you mentioned in the email, but this person sounds like they suck. So I assume they're probably a family member, and you're going to have to.
Well, or it could have been someone who was great for 3 years. They were working for him for 2 years, and then just kind of got complacent, and then started getting away with stuff over and over and over again. And then now you're where you are. Like you just. You can't let that. What a horrible example that would be for the rest of your employees to let that person slide. Would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, especially recently, someone mentioned. So somebody told him. So someone is already complaining about this person.
Yeah.
All right, I think that one's easy. Go fire them. Business leaders are demanding. Hi, Aaron and Alex. We have a business stakeholder who is very customer facing and regularly brings forward new ideas they believe customers want. The challenge is that their team isn't responsible for building, delivering, or maintaining these ideas. They just hand them off as requests. Because of that, they generate a growing list of demands that put pressure on the product and engineering teams without necessarily considering trade offs. A stakeholder in sales says, our customers really need a new reporting dashboard so they can slice their data differently. Can we prioritize this? Their team won't design the dashboard, write the requirements, or support the code, but the ask gets positioned as urgent because customers want it. Meanwhile, product already has validated high impact initiatives planned that directly align to company goals. How do you get projects like this deprioritized at a leadership level? What questions should leaders be asking before moving an idea forward before jumping into the how? Oh gosh, man, this is just like managing up.
That's a
This is
that's a
a
deep
managing
one.
up conversation. This is a tough one because you have to get a business leader on your side to make sure that they understand, like, this isn't us trying to get out of doing something. Like, that has to be number one. It's not because we don't want to do this. I can share an example of something that we recently had happen. Somebody requested that we do an audit of how we were performing on a content level. I'm not going to get into the specificity of it, but like, we want to this, and this. So I let them know the amount of time that would take. So I gave them the amount of times, like, this will take away 30 to 40 hours of time from other things that we are doing. Is this still a priority? And we are going to deprioritize this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. Are you okay with that? And then it leaves them up to make the decision of, do we want to switch this or do we not? And what ended up happening is the classic, like, hey, let's get on a call because I feel like this should be like a pretty easy thing to ask. We got more clarification on what they were asking, and it turns out we were already doing the thing that they were asking. And so then we were able to explain, like, oh, we are doing that thing. And this idea that, or this email that you just sent, or scenario, it doesn't sound like that is the case where you are already doing the thing that they are asking. But I think really easy is talk to the people, let them know what will be deprioritized in order to get this thing in, and make sure all of the stakeholders are in, because I imagine this is probably like a huge company where 5 different people have 5 different priorities. And so then they can fight over where your time is going. That would be my advice.
No, that's literally almost exactly what I was going to say is like, you just have to let them know you have a finite amount of time to do all of the tasks that you have to do. Where do you want me to pull my time from? This is like exactly what you just said, Alex. Like, yeah, if you want this to be done, show me and all the other stuff that I'm doing where you want me to pull the time from in order to be able to fulfill on this request. And if they can do that, fine. But then it at least gives you an out. If they're like, hey, well, you're dropping the ball over here, like, a week or two later, like, you're dropping the ball over here. You're like, yeah, remember we had that conversation where you were okay with me not prioritizing these other things because this was so important. And that kind of gives you at least a little bit of an out. Then also just the ROI on all of these things, the time you're putting into this specific customer and this specific project, is it going to be the return on investment that you actually think it's going to be? And
Right.
maybe you can figure that out easily, maybe it's hard, but you got to cover your bases with that. And that's like Alex said, you just have to tell them how much time it's going to take, and is that more important than these other tasks that I need to be doing?
People always respond really well to how much money will be lost or how much money will be made by doing
Yes.
certain
Yep.
things.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
we were developing like a new service that we were going to be offering, and somebody asked for a specific tool. I was like, this tool is going to cost this many thousands of dollars. Are we sure we want to develop this service? Do we think we can make money off of it? Most people thought no. Like this was a fun service idea until it cost tens of thousands of dollars to do, and there's no proof of concept for it. So then we backed
Right.
off of it. And once you have like those numbers, people are like, oh, never mind. Let's not
Never
do
mind.
it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, hopefully we help some people out today. Good luck to everybody in this upcoming week. Go have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will chat with you all later. Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.